many's glad tonight to be serving a God that hears you when you pray? How many's glad tonight to be serving a God? Great God. Oh, if we could just get that down inside of us this morning. Oh, if we could just get that. If we could just get a hold of that. Oh, knowing that we serve a God that hears us every time we cry out. If we could just get a hold of that this morning and raise up our hands and begin to cry out. Let our souls begin to grow. We serve a wonderful God this morning. Glory to God. Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you all for putting up with that. Glory to God. Glory to God. I like to sing sometimes. Oh, I like to sing, especially when we're singing about God. I like to sing. Oh, I'm going to tell you right now. I may not be much of a preacher, but I can't stay up there. I got to wander around. I got to walk. I'm going to borrow this. I'm wimpy. I may throw this thing. Glory to God. I'm not much good with these either. Brother Paul preached my message, so so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to just add on just a little bit of what Brother Paul said, and because I've got to get back to Arkansas because we got church tonight at 6, so I got to give myself just them 3 hours to get back. So if you get hungry or something, you may want to just leave. No, I'm teasing. Um, really and truly, I tease around some, but what Brother Paul was saying this morning, we need to understand, and God's been dealing with me for a minute on a message of cutting wood. And you might say, man, that's a weird message, but you got to know me. I'm kind of a weird person. God deals with me different than he does with a lot of other people. But God's began to deal with me the other day about cutting wood. He said, when you go through your life, when it's cold outside and you go into a cold room, if you go into a cold room and there's no heat in there, you get to want the heat. Well, if you go in and you build a wood fire, as the room begins to heat up, the atmosphere in the room begins to change. Well, so many times we come to church and we come in and we're cold. And we haven't cut our wood. So we got to go back out and we got to cut our wood. Then we got to haul our wood. And then we expect God to move in our services. And we haven't made any preparations. And so many times we depend upon the pastors. And I don't know if you've ever had to cut wood, but my daddy, we heated with wood. And my daddy worked 40 hours a week, sometimes 60. And when it come time that the wood pile started getting low, Dad would come around and hustle us up. Steve lived with me for a minute. He knows. He can testify to this. Dad would come around and he'd say, it's time to go get some wood. It's fixing to get cold. And we're going to need some wood. And he would take us out. And we would haul the wood in. And we would split the wood. And we would prepare for the cold. But if Dad had to go do it all by himself, it was a chore. It was a hardship. But when he would take us, and he would take us with him, And we would begin to prepare the wood. It wasn't near the hardship. And that's kind of where the pastors are today. So many of us, we come to church and we expect them to bring the wood. We expect them to go out throughout the week. We expect them to go cut the wood. We expect them to haul the wood in. We expect them to have the house for them when they get in here. We expect them to do all things. And Brother Paul didn't. This is all free. This ain't got nothing to do with my message, really holy, but it's got somewhat to do with it. But this is just what God has given me, and we expect the pastors to do everything. But if we, throughout our week, if we find us a place and begin to cut some wood, if we would find us a place and we would begin to cut some wood, we would begin to pile some brush. We would begin to haul it in. When we come into the house of God, that we wouldn't be expecting the pastors to do everything. Why? We would be bringing the fire. We would be saying, we would be proud of it. Dad would say, hey, you're going to need the heat too. You're going to need the heat too. So you need to get out there. You need to get out there and cut some wood. You need to get out there and split some wood because you're going to enjoy the heat. Now, so many times we want the heat, but we don't want to do the work. We don't want to do the work. We want someone else to do it. We want someone else. And there's something else about that room when it starts getting warmed up, Brother Paul. When the coldness starts going away, things begin to be shed off. Things begin to be laid down. Things begin to be uncovered. I don't know why God's going down this road, but we're just going to follow him wherever he goes. There's some times, Brother Paul, when there's some things it needs some heat up in the church. Because some things need to be uncovered. There's some times that things need to be laid down. There's some times that things need to be taken off and laid by the side and not picked up again. There's some times that we need to go into the house of God and we need to prepare the wood and we need to get the fire to burning in the house of God again, so that when the people come in, they need the help. They will begin to shed off some things. They will begin to lay down some things. There will be some changes made. There will be an atmosphere change, and there will be a heart change in the house of God. In the house of God, we need to prepare the wood. We need to prepare the wood. Oh, I was going to read a little bit this morning over in 1 Kings about Elijah. And I wrestled. I was sitting in church a couple of weeks ago, maybe more than that, maybe 3 weeks ago, and God gave me a message, and I felt like it was for this church, and I was so excited. And I told my wife, I said, I got my message. And then I got to Shawnee yesterday and last night, night before last, Friday night, whatever night it was, I got to Shawnee and I got to praying. And I got up and I told my wife, I said, God took my message. He took my message. He done changed it on me. So we're just going to go along with what he changed it to here the best we can. In 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, I'm going to just read a couple verses. I'm not like Sister Becky. I listen to Sister Becky a lot on the Facebook thingy. And man, she goes all over the Bible. And I'm just not that good. So y'all just have to bear with me. Y'all just have to bear with me. So in the 30th verse, the word of the Lord says, and Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. Now, how many tonight or today, whatever this is, know that the altar needs to be repaired in the church? How many know that the altar has gotten broken down? How many, if I went around and I did a poll and I took this microphone and I went to each and every one of you and I said, how much have you prayed this week? Would you be able to answer with anything that would make you just stand up and say, I can tell you how much I prayed? Or would you kind of be cowed down in a little bit of shame? Think about it. Don't get mad at me. I'm getting ready to leave. See, I pastor a church and I got to worry because when I preach there, I have to stay. Here, I can hit and run. So if you get mad at me, you just got to pray through. So there's no need in it. But think about it this morning. Think about it. If I come around, because God knows you can lie to me and you may even fool me, but you can't fool God. So what have you done for him this week? Have you cut your wood? Did you cut your wood? Did you prepare your wood? Or did you expect the pastor to bring it this morning? Did you expect the pastor to bring it? Or did you show up this morning and said, oh, Brother Paul, oh, Sister Bessie, I brought you a load of wood. Oh, I brought you a load of wood. Oh, I went out yesterday and I was a praying and I was seeking the face of God. And oh, God began to move. And I loaded you up a load of wood and I brought it this morning. I brought it into the house of God for you. So you don't got to do as much as you need to do or you used to have to do. Oh, you still need to do it. But anyway, Brother Paul, I brought you a load of wood. Now, every once in a while, when my daddy, when I was younger, I'd go and I'd cut a load of wood and I'd take it to Dad. And oh, he liked it when I brought him a load of wood. Well, let me tell you this morning, if you go home this afternoon and you cut a load of wood, metaphorically speaking, and you come in tonight, I think you guys have church at 4, right? You come back at 4 o'clock and you come through those doors. You'll come through. You'll come through into his gates with praise and thanksgiving, and you will be jumping up and down, and you'll say, Brother Paul, I found me an altar, and I built it up. I prepared the wood upon my altar, and I got a load of wood for you, Brother Paul. And when Brother Paul gets up here, or whoever preaches this afternoon, whoever gets up here on the word of God, will begin to flow from them. God. And it's that spirit that draws us. It's that spirit that draws us. It says here, down in verse 33, it says, and he put the wood in order. He put the wood in order. And when God began to deal with me about cutting the wood, he said, we need to rebuild the altars in my house. And we need to lay the wood in order because we need the fire of God back in the house of God. We need the fire of God back in the house of God. There's things in the house of God that are not pleasing to God. There's things sitting in the house of God all over this land this morning that are not pleasing to God. And if the heat of God would get strong enough in the house once again, if somebody would rebuild the altar things would be uncovered. But if we're not careful, we rely on the pastors. We rely on them to do everything. And we come and we sit. I was talking, Sister Donna and Brother Steve and I, we went out playing around, and they took us to someplace, and we found out that Jesus was black, and all kinds of things that I wasn't. I thought he was brown all this time, but anyway, we found that out last night. He took us down somewhere, and anyway, it was a strange little place, and but we discovered some of this stuff. But I was talking to them yesterday, and I said, God has been dealing with me. He says, people don't want the helmet of salvation no more. They want to have it. They want to take it. They don't want to apply it. And young people, I'm kind of talking to you right now. That helmet of salvation, if you take that helmet of salvation and you apply it to your head, it will change your mindset. It will change the way you think about things. It will change your actions. It will change what you want to see, and it will change what you want to hear. It will change things. It's like that fire that makes you lay things off. And I was telling Sister Donna and Brother Steve this yesterday, and I don't know why I'm going back over here, but we're just going to go with it. And I was thinking about this helmet of salvation. And I said, so many times we see people anymore in the church and they want to hold it. They want to be close to it because they believe in God and they believe in heaven and they believe in hell. But they don't want to really have to change that mindset. And they think that if they come to church and they just stay close to that helmet, if the time comes that they need it, they can apply it. But when God began to deal with me on this, He began to put in my mind, I see motorcycles running around and they have helmets strapped on the motorcycle, not on their heads. They've got that helmet there thinking that if they get in a situation where they need it, they've got it. But how many of them have you seen wrecking and them unbuckling that helmet and getting it on their head before they crash? And that helmet of salvation, we can't just be close to it. We can't just have it close. We got to apply it. It's got to change our mind. It's got to change what we see. It's got to change what we hear. We're serving a jealous God. And I know it would be lovely to be able to stand up here and preach all that God is a God of love. And all you got to do is love on Him and then go out and do what you want. And He's got to understand. But my God is not that understanding. My God is a God that's going to come back one of these days. And when He comes back, if we have not applied that helmet and we have not brought the wood, He said, many will say in that day. Some will even say, I prophesied in your name. And He'll say, depart from me, I never knew you. Why? They took the helmet off. If you ever look at those helmets, they have a nose piece, they have the eyepiece, and they kind of stick out. When you got that helmet on, your peripheral vision is not that good because you got to look straight ahead. God wants you to look straight ahead this morning. He don't want you to be looking at what the world's got for you over here. He don't want you to be looking at what the world's got for you over here. He wants you to look straight at Him. When we put that helmet on, it comes down over our ears. When it comes down over our ears, we don't hear all of that junk that's out there in the world. We don't hear all of that. We only hear what He wants us to hear. We only hear what He wants us to hear. When we got that helmet on, we're listening to Him. And there's so many things that's out there in this world. Brother Paul was talking, he got on the internet even a while ago. And things like that, the iPhones and my son, he's tethered to his phone. If you took it away from him, he'd be lost. And so many of us are that way. Kel, I order food on my phone. I unlock my hotel door with my phone. I checked in with my phone. I, I I'm bad too. I'm not just giving my son and all you a bad time. I'm telling you, I'm telling on me too. Okay, I'm as guilty as everybody else. But there's times that we have to turn it off. There's times that we have to lay it aside, and we have to repair the altar, and we have to lay the wood in order. And all that stuff that's on that phone to distract and do all that, if we're not careful, we will begin to hear it, we will begin to see, and it will distract us from God. Even when you try to get your mind on God, it will come back to you. I told him one time, I said, have you ever noticed the power that's in a remote for a TV? And I know I'm jumping around a lot. But have you ever noticed that there's power in that remote, that TV? If you sit down in a chair, it jumps in your hand. And you don't even know how it got there. You'll just go in and sit down and say, boy, I'm tired. And you'll just sit down and you hope this thing holds me. And you'll just sit down in your chair and you look down and there's that remote. It just jumped right in your hand. Because the devil don't want you meditating upon God. And if he can get you distracted anyway, he'll get you distracted. He'll use your phone. He'll use your neighbor. He'll use your loved ones. He'll use anything to get you distracted. And young people, it's so easy for us to get distracted. But if we have that salvation of helmet, that helmet of salvation, if we have that on, it's a lot easier for us to not get distracted. Because we don't hear all of this other stuff. We don't see all of this other stuff. Our mind, our very thinking is changed. And we will sit and we will meditate upon the good things of God. And when we're just driving down the road and we see a cloud, oh, it will just speak to us right out of the cloud. Oh, we'll see a sunset and it will just speak to us. We'll see a steeple on a church or a cross on a hill. We will see things and it will just speak to us. If our mind is changed, but if our see all of the beauty that God has for us, we're going to be distracted by everything else. These guys that I said, I said that we found out that Jesus was black. They were up there, they were all lined up, and I don't know what they were doing, but one of them was holding a sign that said Jesus is black. And but this one guy, he began to read really loudly in Second Timothy, and Brother Paul, in all honesty, hear what he had to say. I mean, I didn't like the looks really, and but I wanted to hear what the Word of God said, and I wanted to kind of, I really did want to pause and just see what they was about. Now, we get so many people, they get these wild ideas, but they don't truly put that helmet on. Because if they truly had that helmet on and their mind was changed, they wouldn't care what color Jesus was. There wouldn't be a question about what color Jesus was, and they wouldn't be holding a sign that says Jesus is any color. They'd be holding a sign that says, "Do you know my Jesus?" They'd be holding a sign if they had had that helmet on. They wouldn't be distracted by color. They wouldn't be distracted by things of the world. They wouldn't be distracted. Satan wouldn't get them distracted. But they would have been holding a sign, standing out there. They would have been doing a whole different work. They would have been standing there in a whole different attitude if they had had that helmet on. Why? Because that mind would have been changed. They wouldn't have cared what color Jesus was. He said, "I was made in his image." It don't matter what color he is. It don't matter any of that. What matters is that he's Jesus. He's my Redeemer. And he lives. That's what matters. But if they had applied that helmet, see, if they had applied that helmet, that mind would have been changed. And when they would have been standing out there, they would have been standing there with love. And when they would have been reading the Word of God, this precious book here, it would have been done with a different attitude. Why? Because the mind has been changed. They don't think that way no more. They don't go there no more. They don't see there no more. They don't hear there no more. There used to be this little song that they sung, the little kids. It says, "Be careful, little eyes, what you see." We don't sing things like that no more in the house of God. But it's important. Our altars have been torn down, and we're still coming. But the altar is torn down. The wood is not there. We're still coming. But we haven't got the helmet on. We might have it sitting there beside of us. We may even be carrying it in our hand. We may be saying, "I know who God is. I know that he's real. I know where heaven is. And I know where hell is. But I just can't put this on right now. There's something that's keeping me from putting this helmet on. I just can't do it right now. I will do it at a later date." Oh, oh, Jesus. Oh, we just buried one of my second cousins. She went to school. She had 2 degrees. She had a degree in nursing. She had a degree in sociology or something like that. She was married to a guy, and he's a really nice guy. I've only met him a few times, but he was a really nice guy. And he's a flamboyant guy, and he's fun to be around guy. He used to be a Harlem Globetrotter, and you know how fun they are out there taking the balls away and doing all that. I mean, he was a fun guy, and he really used to be one of them. And 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 you would look at her, and you would look on the outside, and you'd say, "Man, a good job. She's got good education. She's married to this guy who's funny. She's got it all. But what you didn't see is the devil had come along and he got her addicted to alcohol. And you didn't see that. All you seen was the pretty picture. You didn't see that old ugly picture. The devil is sneaky. He comes along and he gets you all hooked up with something, and he's sneaky about it. But here she was, and her husband ended up splitting up. My uncle just passed away, so she moved in with my aunt. Right before my uncle passed away, he wanted her to sing Amazing Grace to him. And she sat on the couch with him with no music or anything and sung him Amazing Grace. My uncle was a preacher, and I know he prayed a lot of prayers for his grandchildren. But my uncle passed on, and I pray this morning that that amazing grace that she sung about, I pray that that grace, that hand was extended to her, because my aunt and her dad came in. Her dad, it was on his birthday, and they came in and they found her dead in my aunt's bed. Sin had took its price. And I pray that that amazing grace that she sung about just a few weeks before was applied. I pray that she had time to cry out to God, because she knew she had been in church. But there's no way for us to know if that helmet was. She would even go to church. She was a member of a church. She was on the books. She knew she wanted to keep the helmet close. But when that time came, when depression, there's a spirit of depression in the land. And when that spirit of depression finally got her down, she posted on Facebook, and she said, "Baby Jesus, please give me peace. Baby Jesus is no more. He done all growed up now." I don't think she ever got from here to there to put the pieces together. And I think she held on to that helmet. She wanted to keep it close. She wanted to keep her name on the books of that church, but she just couldn't apply that helmet and let it change her mind, change her attitude, change things. Just like the fire in the church would change things. She didn't want to allow that to change. And when she took that last breath, I pray that she was able to pray before she did it. We won't know until the trumpet sounds. God only knows. If we get to heaven and she's there, she was able to do it. If we get to heaven and she's not there, she wasn't able to do it. And now it's too late. She wanted to keep the helmet close. How many, if I was to go around this church this morning, especially young people, I want to really talk to the young people, because the devil's after our young people. But how many of us, we may even pray a little bit just to keep that helmet close. We may even open our Bibles occasionally, or an app on our phone, to keep that helmet close. But well, I've got plenty of time. there's plenty of time. I'm young. And if I put it on, I'm going to miss out. Well, I've already told you. I tried it. You ain't missing out on nothing. I walked that road. You're not going to miss out on anything. But if you put that helmet on and you keep your eyes upon Him, He's going to lead you through this life. He's going to guide you. You ain't going to have to worry about addiction. You ain't going to have to worry about all these other things. Oh, one of these days you're going to find somebody and you're going to get married. Oh, and you're going to have a family and you ain't going to have to worry about all these things if you keep that helmet on and you keep your eyes straight on Him. Because He's going to lead you and He's going to guide you in the way that He would have you to go. He's going to lead you to that one that He would have you to find. He's going to lead you to that one. He's going to lead you to that place. He's going to lead you to that one there that's going to be for you. But if we don't have that helmet on, we're going to get distracted. We're going to get distracted. And the snares of this world will trip us up. I know I've kind of jumped around this morning, but I want us to know that we need to support the pastors. We need to prepare the wood. My dad, when he got up older, he couldn't split wood no more. It was too hard on him to split wood. So he would talk Johnny into splitting wood. Oh, he would tell him he couldn't do it, and Johnny would go out and prove he could. And Dad would get so tickled. And you just have to have been there. But Dad learned things. Mature people know things. But he knew that he couldn't do it. And sometimes the pastors, we get to the point where we just don't feel we can do it. We're crying out to God. We feel like we're doing all we can do, but we just don't feel like we're doing enough. But if we help, if we apply that helmet, if you apply the helmet, your mind will get right. You'll be out cutting that wood. When you come into the house of God, the fire will be with you. The fire will be with you. You won't have to come in shedding off things and uncovering things. It will already be uncovered and taken care of. But we've got to get that way this morning. If we would, I know it's getting late. I'm shutting up. But I would like for Sister Becky to come and just maybe play something soft, play. And I would like to invite you, if you haven't applied that helmet of salvation this morning, if this has touched you in any way, because even though you may be young, it doesn't mean you're promised even the next hour. If you go through and you look at the newspapers and on the news, and I don't watch the news, but if you look on there, young people are losing their lives every minute. There's young people who are taking their own lives. We had a minister preach at our church Thursday night, and he is a child psychologist or something for the schools. He does mental health something for the schools. I don't know what he does. But he goes around and he talks to these 6, 7, 8-year old kids, kindergarten kids, 5-year olds who have anxiety, who have depression. He said a 5-year old should not have depression or anxiety. All they should have to do is play. But they've got it. It's a spirit that is in the world and it's attacking the very young people. It's attacking their minds. But if we could get that helmet of salvation applied, it can't attack that mind. It can't get through that helmet of salvation. So if this has touched you in any way, I would ask that you find a place to pray or come. And you ask God, say, God, help me to apply that helmet of salvation. Lord, I've held on to it long enough. Lord, I've let it sit beside me long enough. Lord, I've walked with it long enough. Lord, I've had it strapped on, but I haven't had it applied. And Lord, I see where my mind is gone. I see where my sight is gone. I see where my hearing is gone. And Lord, I don't want that no more. I don't want it no more. And if you don't want it no more, if you will come and you will put that helmet of salvation on this morning, when you get up and you walk out of here, you will be changed. Your mindset will be changed. You'll be no more walking the way you were. Things will even look different when you put the helmet on. You won't see a lot of things that you used to see. But I promise you this morning, you do not want to go out into eternity without knowing that helmet is secure. Because if you go out into eternity without that helmet on, you're going to be judged one day. And I don't feel like you're going to want to hear the verdict. Because I'm afraid he's going to say, depart from me, I never knew you. Yeah, you came to my house. Yeah, you had that helmet with you, but you never put it on. You never come in and you never asked me to be your Lord and Savior. You never said, Lord, here am I, a sinner. Here am I, Lord. Lord, help me to get that helmet of salvation on, Lord, that I may walk with you. Lord, that I may see only what you want me to see. Lord, that I'll only hear what you want me to hear. Lord, that I'll walk through my life, Lord, with an attitude different than everyone else around me. Oh, if you would, either come or just find you a place to pray, however you want to do it. But don't leave out of here without that helmet applied. Don't leave out of here without that helmet being secured. Without knowing this morning that your destination is secured. Grandma can't get you there. Grandpa can't get you there. Mom and Daddy can't get you there.